And today for it, there's a dinosaur on the 13th floor. Welcome to the Sharemore Hotel, said the porter. You must be Mrs. Snore. Let me show you to your room. The sooner the better, said Mrs. Snore. I'm very sleepy. Here you are, said the porter. Room 104. Sweet dream, Mrs. Snore. Mrs. Snore thanks the porter. Get ready for bed. Crawls under the cover and switched off the light. But as he was about to lay his hand upon the pillow, he heard a speaking sound. Hello, front desk. This is Mrs. Snore in room 104. Somebody is sleeping on my pillow. Yes, that would be the mouse, said the porter. I believe he had had a very long day. So am I, grumbled Mrs. Snore, and I do not wish to share a room with a mouse. So the porter led Mrs. Snore to a room on the second floor. Sleep tight, Mrs. Snore. Mrs. Snore crawled into bed and switched off the light, but just as he was falling asleep, he felt a rush of cold air. Mrs. Snore called the front desk again. Somebody is holding on the cover. That would be the pig, said the porter. Shall I bring you another blanket? No, Mrs. Snore. Firm. I want another room. So the porter took Mrs. Snore to the third floor, where there were no pig or mice or bee found. Mrs. Snore kicked off his slippers, crawled into bed, and was just about to close his eye when drip, drip, drip. Sorry about the lacking ceiling, the porter said, as Mrs. Snore marched fast at the sea view on the fourth floor. This time, declared Mrs. Snore, I will find my one room. He found one on 50th floor. I don't think you will like this room, whispered the porter. Unless, of course, you are fond of... Spider! Cried Mrs. Snore. Quick, said the porter, to the lift. How do you feel about bees? Asked the porter. The same way I feel about spiders, said Mrs. Snore. Please give the 6th room. The 7th floor was too hot. The 8th floor was too cold. The 9th floor was just... Giraffe! Cried Mrs. Snore. The porter smiled. Would you care to guess what's to the 10th floor? On the 10th floor, they found... Hamster! Where are the rest of the giraffe? Asked Mrs. Snore. On the 11th floor, said the porter. Then I will stay on the 12th, said Mrs. Snore. So they went to the 12th floor. Hey, it's empty, said Mrs. Snore. No one even stayed here, explained the porter. Perfect, said Mrs. Snore, and he lay down and shut his eye. It does tend to get a bit noisily, the porter warned, but Mrs. Snore was already fast asleep. Stomp, 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 grrr. Mrs. Snore rang the front desk. I cannot sleep with all this sound. I'm going to find a room on the 13th floor. Oh dear, no, said the porter. On the 13th floor is a click. Mrs. Snore did not wait to hear the porter's warning. He went up the 13th floor. There were no mice, no pig, no penguin, no snake, no spider, no dolphin, no bees, no giraffe, not even a hint of a hamster. Nothing but a giant room with a giant bed and a giant pillow. I do hope Mrs. Snore will be all right, said the porter. Ring! Went the phone at the front desk of the Shermore Hotel. Hello, this is the dinosaur on the 13th floor. Somebody is sleeping on my pillow. The porter sighed. Yeah, that would be Mrs. Snore, he said. He was had a very long day. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.